Okay, hello. All right, so it says grab bag. Really, this is mostly just an audio test. I've got some new configuration and computer set up, and just want to see how everything works. I was having problems yesterday, so. Okay, it sounds all right. I think there's still a faint sort of or like a shitty radio aesthetic to my audio. Which sucks. But overall, the audio level finally seems to be sorted. And setting aside the general tone of my voice, um, I think most of the actual um, other elements of crappiness are gone. Elements of crappiness are gone. So like the overmodulation, got uh, when I'm speaking low, speaking high, like that's all. Like I had all these filters and all this audio processing. I've had it in place all this time, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't working for me. So I sat down. One of the YouTubers one of the YouTubers that I recently met pointed me at a video of a guy who explains how to configure audio, and it's the same person that I used. However, it was a more up to date version. I guess he'd redone his here's how to configure your OBS audio. So anyway, I went through it again, and there were a number of changes that I was able to make that did seem to improve things overall. So I'm very happy about that. I did some extensive testing. I also I had some there was some stuff in OBS that I was kind of wondering, like it seemed like a weird way to handle sound, and as far as like what audio you can hear and when, and it didn't. It was the only thing that seemed to work, but it didn't make sense why I had to do it that way. And one of the things was I had to record my desktop audio. So basically, everything you would normally hear your computer like say, right? All the audio that would come out of a computer. That's what I was recording. So what that meant is like when I have like the starting screen or the standby screen or any of that up, basically any screen other than the game. If I went like alt tabbed to the game and did something that made noise, or even just started the game and it made this game, has the music, you would hear that on top of the audio from those like standby screens. And it didn't make sense to me why I had to do it that way, but I do remember I mean like I messed with OBS for a long time just to get those things to work. So I'm sure it was just fatigue. I got to the point where less makes sense than when you started out. So anyway, I finally I've been like for the longest time I've been wondering, why can't I just record the video, like record the audio directly from the game? Why do I have to record the desktop audio? That doesn't make sense. I'm already recording my audio and the desktop audio. Why don't I record my audio and the game audio? Which is how it should be done and is how I'm doing it now. And why that didn't work before, I couldn't fucking tell you. I've spent so many hours trying to configure OBS. So I'm sure that there comes a point at which your brain just kind of shuts down and you don't realize it. And I'm sure that's hello and goodbye. So I'm sure that's what had happened. And anyway, so I was just looking at that last night, and I was like, let's try some stuff. So I got that working, and then I also got a couple other things that I'd wanted to do. So my standby or my startup and all my standby screens, I've been wanting to find ways to mix up different music over top of the videos that I have. And a lot of things just clicked, and I was like, oh, I know exactly how I can do that now. And so I'm really happy. So I tried that out last night, and then again today, just to see. And yeah, I'm really happy. So how it all turned out. So I thought what I would do is jump in again. I was rewatching. Oh, hello again. Welcome back, whomever you are. So I thought today I would jump in and just do kind of some of the same things I tried to do yesterday to test out the audio. I was working on a drone at the end. I'm gonna work on that a little bit, polish that a little bit. It's not important to me to finish today, but if I do, that's cool. And then also I'm gonna drop down to Pertam and try and race one of the canyons a little bit, because I tried to do that yesterday as well, and I was getting some really bad lag. So I don't feel like I'm experiencing that right now. One of the other things that I figured out yesterday was the fucking cooling pad that I have my laptop sitting on. So the short version is it wasn't working the way I was using it. It has little feet on the back so you can put it at an angle, and I was using it flat. Now, if that's all I said, you would probably say, well, of course it didn't work. It wasn't blowing air, you know? It was flat. But it's got vents all along the side. It's got 3 fans in it. So I figured the air was supposed to go in from the side, go out the top, cool the laptop. And what I realized, I don't know what prompted me to do this. I took a tissue and I set it on top of the cooling pad while it was running. And it literally sat right on the cooling pad. I'm like, it's not even putting enough air to lift the tissue up. So then I lifted the whole thing up off the table, and suddenly it lifted up the tissue. And I'm like, oh my God, like, no wonder it's not doing any good. So I used the little legs. It's a little awkward now, but it's cooling much better. So I'm happy about that. And then I also visited or revisited some of the power settings on the laptop to get the fan active more often. So hopefully all these things will result in my computer running better, which means less of the lag or I mean, I was calling it lag. It's what it felt like that I was experiencing the other day. Here it is. So let's see. Boop. And it feels pretty good. Yeah, feels pretty good. All right, let's stop you from moving. And I'm bouncing around a lot because I kind of want to just test a variety of things. Let's see, one thing I was looking at while I was working on this. I was thinking maybe if I did like this and then made this one that would be kind of cool. It continues the line from there to here. Those have their own separate lines. Yeah, and then I was actually thinking, down here I realized after I installed those cargo containers, I did not reinstall a docking light. Put that back on. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. All right, there we go there. And let's see, how about, I'm also curious. Yeah, this will work. Let's do this. Oop. Oh. Yeah, I guess it would be that one. All right. So I wanted to play with some of these other angles over here. Goodness, there we go. How's that look? I think that looks... So I was thinking of making both sides like that, right? Now, I think if you just look at the engine and the shield here, it looks great. And it'll look great like that on both sides. However, I think when you look at the body and the shield, the bigger one fits better. Oh, that's not the bigger one. This is the bigger one. Right. The bigger one fits better. Well, I think what I'll do, I will change it. And if I don't like, I can change it back. So here we go. There we go. Cool. Because that honestly is more for aesthetics than actual protection. So cool. So yeah, so I was looking at this middle part here, and actually in my head, I'll go ahead and try this. I was thinking that, how's that look? I don't know about that. I think I'm going to put it back. Do that one, that one, that one. All right. And then here, I don't know. Oh, I see. It goes to a point. Yeah, there's no real way to. Okay. I mean, maybe that if that one didn't slope down, but let's try this one. How's that look? Looks like crap. Okay. There. All right. So we do have something under there. I can't just delete it. All right. Let's see. Oh, that's not going to work. So I was thinking, what if I just rise up from the level that these two edges define here? Which would be like using this, right? Like that. Maybe then I would have to do something over here. I just don't know about that. All right. So we'll go there. We'll keep that for now. These. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe these. Like so. I do not know about that. Yeah, see, this block just sticks out. It sticks out really bad. It's the same way up here now. Okay, I think that's better. So it continues that line there. Like so. I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that's what it needed. Same down here. Okay, great. All right. And I do like the difference of the two shapes there. So I think that's looking good. All right, now the front stuff is really ugly. That would make a nice little recess for like headlights or something. But in space, you know, are they really necessary? Now let's see. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does have 10 lifting thrusters. This might actually work on a planet. Although I can't imagine it's going to have a very long flight time. I feel like a hydrogen drone on like a 1G planet is a really cool way to waste a lot of fuel. Especially like assuming it can like auto self-dock and all that garbage. Okay, so also I don't know what to do about it, but I did identify another problem. So when I put this on, this connector, it's slightly recessed, and I thought, oh, okay. All right, I think it even said, okay, well then whatever it connects to will have to extend out a little bit. Except that imposes a couple of requirements. So one, either the thing it only connects to small grids, right? Because the large grid connector doesn't have what's inset. Yeah, that's the word I want. Goodness. Here we go. Yeah, it's an inset connector, which curiously enough, they don't have a large grid small not inset connector, do they? Keen did not give us that. That's an interesting choice. I think the inset connectors actually, although they look quite cool because they can be flush and all that, I think they're actually less useful than the normal connectors. They're harder to dock with. You're more likely to bump into the surrounding stuff surrounding the connector. But anyway, so that's all there is there. So this, trying to dock onto that, is going to be difficult. Yeah, it's just going to be ugly. So so it's not really going to be able to use that, which means it would have to use some sort of adapter or whatever, and that now you're getting into either connected grids, like you've got, you know, there's your main connector, and then you're using oops, you know, you're using like, oh my goodness, you know, like 2 of these or something. Or actually, I guess you would have to use, an adapter. Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's really ugly. It's uglier than I thought it would be. You have to do something like this. And then this. There's a small inset. I don't think I remembered that. Okay. So like that, right? So your main ship would have this, and everywhere you want one of these things to land, you'd have to have like a connector like that. Or you could use like a rotor and hinge attachment, and now you're messing with subgrids. So short version is, this is not a good design. It's not, having it this far recessed is not good for a drone. So, but it is what it is right now. I could obviously extend it, but that will look bad. I suppose I could get rid of this bits of armor on the bottom. Those are those are the things causing the problems, because you remove those, and now this connector is flush with these tanks, which personally I still really don't like, because now the tanks are potentially bumping into the surface. Not a good thing to have your hydrogen tanks do. But whatever, this is it's just a drone. It's just a it's something to work on. Kind of experimenting with the idea of like a really highly automated drone. I've got all the AI blocks in here so that I can do all the things, and then I also want to I've got enough timers and event controllers so that I can set it up to return to base and dock if it's out of power, out of ammo, or takes damage, or out of hydrogen, or low on those things. And then likewise, it's got enough timers and event controllers that it can then remain at the dock until everything is topped off and repaired and fueled and all that, and then depart. That does remind me, I need some lights to act as my data, basically. Let's see, those are half blocks. So what you can do, if you need, for example, like I want this drone, like let's assume it's docked at a base, getting waiting to depart. Like it's active, it's running, and it's waiting to depart, and everything else is fine, working. So I want an event controller to monitor, say, for example, fuel, right? I don't want it to depart until the fuel is full. And then I have another event controller that's monitoring ammo. I don't want it to depart until like the guns are full and the what few cargo containers on here are also full, right? So we've got a few things I want to monitor. A single event controller cannot monitor multiple different types of things. So what you can do, and I'm not sure where to put this. I'd like to put them all together. Let's see. No. Really want to put these all together, but I'm not seeing a spot for it. I mean, one, two, three. Yeah. It'll be easier to work with for like testing and whatnot if I can sort of see everything at once without having to fly all the way around the damn thing. Because then it also lets me see them all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4. That might be an option. I'll still be able to access the cargo, but they're somewhat hidden. And actually, yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're gonna go here. We'll do light. It'll be the last 4 here. All right, this is gonna be light. Ooh. Let's do this. Ready. This name. All right, so this is going to be ammo. Ammo is ready. This is going to be power is ready. Basically full, right? Whatever I decide ready means. Fuel. We'll do hydrogen. Hydrogen is ready, and we'll do repairs. Right. So and then actually we'll make them green. There. There we go. We'll leave the toolbar configure on because I do need to be able to get to these from other blocks. Otherwise, we're going to take them out of the terminal and turn them off there. So, oh shit! How? Oh no! Did I grab the wrong? Oh. Mirroring is on. Whoops. All right. This one is number 4. All right, so we'll come down here. Lights. Number 4. Here we go. This is light, and this will be ammo, hydrogen power. All right, we'll call it repair. Ready. All right. So you're going to be green, there, 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 and there. I believe that's everything, right? Yep. So there we go. We'll turn that off. There. Okay. So, what are these two? Are these navigation? Oh, they sure are. Well, one is. Let's get these on 8. Yep. Do that. There we go. So that's light, and that is light 9. Okay. So it's here, light and light 9. These are lights. Get the caps lock off. Lights, nav. Go. So this whole stream also is allowing me to test for things like how bad does it sound? Like, can you hear me when I click the mouse or tap on the keyboard? Because that was a problem I had with the previous setup as well. And I think I've got most of that fixed as well. The one thing that I've got, this will be the left. Oh, here, light, nav. There we go. Duh. Light. Have. Okay. We'll do both of you. Okay. So left is green. Nope. Left is red. Right is green. All right. You two. We'll do 0.5. We'll do 1. Here's 0.5. Intensity, we'll do 2. Offset there. All right, so save, and we'll just leave them on. And yep, I kept interrupting my train of thought a second ago, and now I don't know what I was going to say. Okay, so what I can do here, let's get the event controllers, and we'll do, this is for repairs or damage. Damage. So damage and power, and this will be MO, and this will be fuel. Now wait a second. 4, 5, 6. I thought I had 8. Why do I not have 8? I'm supposed to have 8. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1 here and on the opposite side, and there's 1 in front of it. So that's 4 up here. Why did down here not? Oh, just because. All right, well, let's add that in. So here's 6. Event controller, 1, 2. All right, and then leave here. Is that what? Shit. What did I have? Oh, I had. Yeah. That's right. Okay, great. Yeah, it cuts in, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So, I'm not sure why I flew up to the top, because the only access point is down here. And yeah, I still can get to those. It's tricky, but it's not meant to be something you do in the heat of combat. Right, so event controller. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we can do, right on. So we'll do like this. So the ammo monitor is when the cargo filled is equal to or less than, we're going to say 5%. We're going to do each of the Gatling turrets, and we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 each of the cargoes, and that'll be that, right? And then the damage will be when here, any of these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll add all those. Sure, why not? Oh, whoops. Block integrity, that's what I want. We're going to say less than, and we'll do, I don't know, 85%. I don't know what there. All right, we're going to do all the AI blocks. Oh. Add those. Antenna, yeah. Auto programmable block. Okay, the event controllers. Yeah, we'll do all this stuff. And the turrets and the gyros. I guess yes, also the thrusters. The lights, do we really care about that? That's just a docking light.
Fuel critical.
Hydrogen tanks, yes. The main thrusters, yes. We'll do the cargos, the connector, all the timers, because I imagine we'll need those. Basically, all the stuff that are required for the main mission of flying and fighting, the secondary missions of navigating. And then if these things are damaged, it's not really going to interfere with, it'll interfere with the, like the, like these two, I don't care about those. If these get damaged, it will interfere with it like automatically returning to the patrol after getting repaired. But I'm not too worried about that. And part of the reason, hello, welcome. Part of the reason is because they're tiny ass lights, right? So if they're going to get damaged super easy. So I don't want like the first glancing shot from a pistol to send the thing running. So I think at this point, I'll just go with that stuff. Okay. Fuel. So here we're going to go fill. Is there a fill or is it? It's got to be fill. There it is. All right. We'll do 20%. Less than. Presumably, let's see, if we're in space, you can go a lot lower, right? Or, ooh, actually you can't because the way the AI blocks work. I don't know. We'll see. We'll use that number to see what happens. Power. Where is the charge? Power output. No. Stored power. There we go. Equal or less than. All right. So equal or less than, and we'll do, I don't know, 20% again. And we'll add those. Okay. So now what we're going to do here's what we're going to do. So the ammo, so when this oh shit, these are all, I haven't, right, let's do a tiny bit of cleanup first. So thrusters, all of these thrusters and gyros, save all of those and reset the name, and then we'll hide them. Gyros, we'll include those, reset the name, hide them. Okay, cool. All right, these guys will be small cargo magazine special, like so. And the Gatling turrets, if I put special tags on those, then I can top them off. They don't it seems like for whatever reason the turrets in the game, they don't top themselves off. Special, like they will auto pull ammo, but they don't pull enough ammo to be full. It's like 75% or something. So I don't know what's going on with that. But, so we'll do that so I can make them top off. And so we get some timers. Oh, batteries. Here we go. Batteries. And battery. I don't like the DLC names or the variant names on the blocks. I want to be able to, like, when I think battery, if I'm looking in the terminal for the batteries of a grid, I'm looking under B. I'm looking at the top, right? And if it's got warfare batteries, that's really annoying because they're under W at the bottom. So on my stuff, I replace the names and just B. So now when I open up, there are the batteries. I don't care what kind of batteries they are. I do leave like if it's a small battery, but that's only on like rovers really anyway. So but usually for those I have a lot. I don't know. I guess I'm not totally consistent about that. But for like industrial fuel tanks and industrial thrusters and warfare batteries and all that, I don't like having those prefixes on there. So anyway, here are our batteries. I will top them up for now. And then I don't need to see them. Okay. Let's do the 2 fuel tanks here and here. Hydrogen tanks. Packins. All right. Nothing needs to refill. Oh yeah, see? Hydrogen tank. Yeah, lab. Don't need that. Alright, tanks. Nope. 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 Alright, cool. Oops. Alright, I believe this is the docking light. Docking. And we'll do that one. That one. That one. Here. And maximize that. And then we'll turn it off. We'll leave it in the terminal. And off. There we go. Alright, so now we're ready to work. Okay, cool. So here, the event controllers. So ammo, you are going to, yeah, that's much cleaner. All right, ammo. All right, you're going to turn this one on and the same one off. So when ammo is below 5%, and we're going to do everything. Yeah, we're going to do everything. As a matter of fact, so what my concern here is if a turret gets damaged and it's full of ammo, the event controller probably still reads it as full of ammo. So if I say all of them must be low, and you have a Gatling turret that's damaged with ammo in it, so it's not working, and everything else is empty, it's not going to register. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these and just look at the cargo containers, which... didn't I rename these things? Cargo. I did. I must not have actually hit the button. Oh, yep. There we go. All right. Those don't need to be viewable in the terminal. Toolbar. Actually, I think event controllers see things even if they're not visible in the toolbar. Inventory screen. Fine. All right, so here we go. So the event controller, the ammo, looks only at those three. All of them must be empty. And at that point, the guns will have 5 or 6 magazines in them, which is plenty. So actually, we're going to say 0. Yeah. Right on. And that will turn on one of these lights. Which one doesn't matter. As long as it's like which one on the grid, like as we're looking at it, doesn't matter. It does matter that it's the correct light. All right, so event controller. So we're going to do the same for damage. I've already selected the things I care about. So the lights, damage. Nope. Is it repair? Oh, nice. All right, we're going to do on and then off. Okay, fuel, actions, hydrogen. There we go. On, and then off. Okay, and then power. Repair, power. Here we go. On, and then off. Great. Now this one is going to be let's see. We're going to say turn to base. Lack of a better term. And then we're going to say depart to patrol. Right? And that still leaves me with 2 other event controllers to do stuff. So you're going to return to base when block switched on. We're going to look at these 4. Okay. We're going to add all 4, and when we're going to leave this off. Okay. So when any of these turn on, we know that we are low on ammo, low on hydrogen, low on power, or need repairs. And if that's the case, then we're going to fire off the return to base timer, which will get things going. So we return to base. When we depart to patrol, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the block switch on and off. We are again going to look at all blocks. But now they need to all be on. They need to all be on. So, oh look, one is already on. That's interesting. Fuel critical. Sweetie. All right, let's go to lights. Repair. Here. Oh, it's already on. This guy? He's off. Oh, right. Because I didn't have him in the initial group. All right, so events. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are set up. These two. So depart is looking at the 4 lights. When all of them are on, we depart, and when any of them are all of them are off, we depart. When any of them are on, we return. So let's do this. Since they are indicators of a problem, let's change their color. Oh, poor kitties. There we go. So now, now the subconscious associations with color match up with my conscious choices on how I want to use these things, and I won't mess myself up. All right, so one thing I want to do is timer. So here, I'm just going to call this return to base. Okay, and this is going to be depart to patrol. And I like to use the same name for things that are like doing a related thing. It makes it easier to match them all up. It also makes it easier to find them in the terminal. So if I do like depart, see like, oh, that one, oh, okay, these are probably related. So the depart to patrol, when all of these are off. Oh, so they're currently all off, which means the output action is 2. So that's the one I want to assign the timer to. That's the position I want to assign the timer to. So depart to patrol here. So we'll just trigger that. Okay, and it doesn't do anything yet. That's fine. And then return to base here. So they're all off. So that would be action slot 2. So if any of them came on, I guess bad boy, return, event controller. So off, on, so we're low on fuel, off and off. So action slot 1 is what we'd want to fire. So here we get that timer, return to base over there, trigger now. Cool. So now what I would need to do is set up these 2 timers to get the craft back to the base and to manage docking and whatnot. And I have other timers that might be helpful for that. I don't think I'm going to worry about that just yet. I just kind of wanted to get the structure laid out. This. We can reset the numbers. AI flight move. Whoa. Oh, I didn't mean to put 2 of those. Oops. That's funny. I didn't mean to put 2 of those at all. How'd that happen? I did mean to put 2 of these. Boop. Shit. Yeah, basic, defense, flight, offense, and recorder. That's 5 blocks. How many blocks are there? AI, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5. Okay. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. I'm not sure how I did that though. I would say it was a mirroring mistake, but they're on the center line. They were the first blocks I placed. So, wow. I don't know how I managed to do that. So you got basic, you've got movement, you've got defense and offense, flight, and then 2 recorders. This is, for now, I'm going to put this as a docking. And actually, let's do this. Departing, yeah. I'll move 2. And there's no reason to really have this at all. We can already change the speed limit through the actions that you could put in a timer. So there's no need to have a second block at all. All right. That means we gotta go find it and get rid of it because I'm not gonna leave it there. Um.
Fuel critical.
uh, so I think it'll be that. That's one of them. Oh, that's fine. Oop. There we go. And I guess I can just make a mental note that if I need another spot to put something, another timer or something, I've got room. All right, so here we go. Interesting. I didn't see the 2 when I highlighted it just now. Air recorder, tasks. This will be the patrol. This will be like the wandering patrol. And then if you wanted to do like a patrol route, you could use either these to give it waypoints. Is this the one? Yeah, you could use these to give it waypoints. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah. So that or of course the remote control block. Okay. So cool. So we got this done here. Please go away. Awesome. It's a little line of red on the bottom. Looks cool, I suppose. All right, cool. All right, I am going to save this so I can update the blueprint. Boop. Go. And boop. All right, and now I'm going to jump down to Pertam and try and do some flying because, I mean, honestly, performance seems pretty good. Computer is still well past the uncomfortably hot point. I didn't expect that to stop. But it does still seem to be working well. And let's see, I have a device. Not a device, I have an application. Start. That will show me how hot everything is. And it looks like we're still okay, it looks like. Yeah. So it tells me a bunch of like temperatures of my PC and all that. Temperature difference from maximum junction temperature, TJ max. The digital thermal sensor returns temperature offset from TJ max. So this value is actually the raw value from the DTS. Oh my goodness. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Current. Actual average value of all aggregated current values. Minimum max. Runtime min max. Well, I knew that. Okay. Average. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying. There's a value here, and I'm trying to understand how to interpret it. It's the minimum TJ max, core distance to TJ max. And my understanding is at TJ max is when at that temperature is when the computer shuts down to avoid damaging itself from heat. The minimum is 0 right now. The maximum is 21, and the current is 16. And the minimum value is actually in red. So I'm wondering, is this like how close I am. Is this like the distance from TJ Maxx? Yeah, core distance to TJ. So I guess it is. So max will be the farthest it's been, and minimum would be. So that means it's like right like 0 degrees away from shutting down. Yes. I don't know. And it is. It is too hot to maintain touch on. So, but it has always been like that. So anyway, I'm gonna drop down to Pertam and try and do some racing because again, I want to see what the lag feels like. All right, let's get one of my racers. So we'll do a atmospheric vector. Let's do. What do I feel like doing? Oh, let's do this one. I like this one. This little rescue craft. And I've never actually raced this one. So one thing I'm trying to keep in mind is like these things do not all perform the same. And which probably is probably pretty obvious or intuitive. All right, good, we're running. But that also means that they're not all well suited for racing through canyons. So all right, let's get a high power. All right, cool. And oh, there are the canyons. Okay, so here we go. Cool. So I was already feeling the skipping or the lag yesterday. Oh, it's the deep canyon. Oh, nice. I love it. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Oh man, I hate when that happens. All right, cool, yeah, but ooh, that's tight. Oh boy, they're not meant to fly sideways. All right, that's good. This like it feels good. The way it is running, just awesome. So fun fact, or how come fun facts are never actually that much fun? Interesting fact, mildly interesting fact. So right here, granted, I'm doing 125 because there's a speed mod on here, the relative top speed mod. So I'm going faster than you could normally in the vanilla game. Now, it's better if I'm not. There we go. My first video of me recording myself like flying through this specific canyon in this type of aircraft was in a vanilla game. So the max speed was 100 meters a second. And the craft I was flying was not terribly maneuverable, but at 100 meters a second, pretty much anything you can, you know, like I'm not really working hard here. Like I wasn't flying really low where it's super tight or anything like that. Because, you know, you see down there, it gets more narrow. It was just me flying through, just nice and comfortable, just like this. No big deal. And I don't know why. That is my most popular damn video. I have no clue why. I don't know. I feel like maybe somebody shared it on a really popular platform or something. Like I genuinely don't know, but it outperforms everything else I've done to date by a factor of like 100. It's and it's such a mediocre, boring video. Like it didn't even have like any music to it. It was just this, like the design I kind of felt was not very interesting. It was one of my first designs. It was just like it was just me like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and me you know, it was just nothing. And it is the most popular by a massive stretch of everything that I have to this day. And that was like, whoops, I don't know, like 2 years ago maybe that I made that one. I don't know why. All right, cool. Not a bad run. Oh, I had the stupid HUD up. Oh, that's gonna ruin it. Oh well. But no hitches, no hiccups, no pausing. That's great. I'm glad to see that. And there we go. Sweet. Whoops. Pancake. Not quite. That's a pancake. Yeah. I like this build. It works pretty well. It's decently maneuverable. It's decently capable too. I mean, right there, you're supporting itself on its side for the most part. Well enough. Not perfectly, but it's pretty. It's almost like it can almost support itself at a full 90-degree roll, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Some of my other stuff, like even a 30-degree roll, like they'll start they'll start sliding. So, and this was just meant as this actually meant as like a thematically it's a rescue craft, but it's actually meant as kind of a starter craft because it's got the survival kit there. I guess it would be like it's meant as a starter craft, and then the in-game universe, like the in-universe utility would be that it's a rescue craft because of the survival kit. But I really like this one. Turned out pretty well. This is one of the later builds that I've made vector thrust vehicles, so I guess it makes sense that the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, not saying that it's necessarily like the most awesome thing in the world, but it is. I do feel that it is better than the stuff I made in the beginning, you know. So, barring the exceptional, like the one or two exceptions where you're like, I just got lucky and built a design that works really, really well. My spaceship with the turreted railgun is like that. Like, I don't build a lot of warships. I've saved every like quote warship I've ever built as a blueprint, and I think I've got all of maybe a dozen, and most of them don't have weapons because they were built on servers that had, you know, weapon block mods, and they were like, most of them I've never used in combat. Most of them are very, very bad. So and most of those were built like a long time ago on that server. So when I was doing the green base rebuild series, at the end I built a warship to go hunt down pirates, and honestly, it's one of the best warships I've ever built, and it's not as big as some of the other stuff or have as much firepower, but I just got lucky is what I'm getting at. Like I got lucky and hit on a good combination of maneuverability from the gyros and power from the thrusters, and then firepower with the weapons I chose to put on it. Just everything came together really well, and I think a lot of that was just kind of luck, and like obviously I was trying to make a good ship, but I'm always trying to make a good ship, you know, and I think that's one of my better ones. And I think it's more luck than oh well, I made so many, you know, or learned skill or learned experience or anything like that. That little rock area I flew through at the end there was pretty cool. It's a shame I pancaked on some of it. Oh, that was nice. Part of the reason I have so many videos doing this is because it's really easy for me to get into a flow state. Just flying these things, it's kind of peaceful and calming, and not when you hit something, but you know, you get into the zone and then you're just like, yeah, you know, you sort of dial in to how the particular, because every vehicle, you know, handles differently, and you sort of get locked in, and whoops, oh shit, talking about locked in. But you know, you get dialed. Oh my god, come on, you get dialed in, and then you're just like, oh yeah, know how to make it go where I want to go, and it's almost relaxing. So yeah, these things, they have their quirks. They have their quirks for how they move, which is part of the charm of a vector thrust vehicle. Part of the reason I like them is they're complicated, you know? Whoa. A normal vanilla craft is, you know, you put thrusters in each of 6 directions, and then you have X amount of thrust in each direction, depending on the thrusters. And it's as simple as that. It's consistent. Hello, Bradley. But these, with the variable thrust and the system that controls them, it's not always the same. So it's different. I like it. How you doing today, buddy? Oh, there we go. Oh, man. Oh. Here we go. That's the button. That one? No. I want that one. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's 3 people now. Whoops. Don't fly and not look at where you're going. Thanks, Bradley. Appreciate it. I really like this design. Here we go. Yeah, it's like a survival, a rescue. It's supposed to be like a rescue vehicle, so it's got a survival kit. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm glad to see other people like it too. And hello to the other 2 people who literally just joined. That's pretty cool. Today I'm just doing a I've done a bunch of like reconfiguration of my streaming system, my computer hardware, my audio system, like just a bunch. So today I'm kind of just yesterday I streamed and had a bunch of like technical problems with performance, and so today I'm sort of just kind of doing the things I like to do to see how everything plays around. There we go. Zoom. Yeah. Oh man, I love these things. Nothing survival about it. That looks like the kind of ship you dodge fire in order to crash into a ship. I'm not actually sure what you mean by that. It sounds vaguely complimentary, but at the same time, I'm not sure if you're saying the only thing it's good for is ramming into other things. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's I think, yeah, I said survival earlier. I think what I meant was like a starter craft because of the survival kit on it, and then the in-universe like explanation is that, oh fuck, it's a rescue craft. So again, that's why it has a survival kit on it. Um, I about 2 years ago. So I've been playing this game for about 4 or 5 years now, and about 2 years, and I was never really heavy into using a lot of mods. I kind of wanted to get the vanilla experience, see what that's like before I started modding, or playing with mods, which I did. And for the most part, I don't really like a lot of mods that people write, because they generally tend to be, it's hydrogen thrusters, but 10 times the power herd, or, you know, and if that's the way you play, that's silly cool. I'm mocking it a little bit, but only because I don't like to play that way. You know, I don't like overpowered stuff, or, oh, let's just tune this dial to 11 or whatever. But that being said, and part of the reason is practical, right? I don't want to, for example, take the thrusters. I don't want to say if all my single player games always use, say, thrusters that are 10 times as powerful, then if I go play on a server or on a friend's game that doesn't use that mod, I don't know how to build ships anymore, right? Because my sense of how much thrust something needs is off by a factor of 10. So I generally don't like to do that. Like, and then for something like weapon mods, I generally don't use those, just because it makes bringing blueprints between games hard if they don't have the same weapon mods as you do. So I'll build with like vanilla weapons, or leave space or whatever. Be like, I know, like, I'm building for this server and they have huge guns, you know, or whatever. That's more the exception than the rule. So, and about 2 years ago, I decided, among other things, that one thing I was going to do is start using the multi-grid projector plugin. And that is very much not vanilla. And the reasoning was, one day I was sitting there, I was thinking about it. I was like, we got the custom turret controller, so you can make these custom turrets. We've got rotors. We've got scripts that allow you to build craft like this, like vector thrust stuff, you know, and all this stuff. But you can't build it in survival, right? Because you have to build it piece by piece. And if you do build it in survival, you certainly don't want to take it into a fight, because if you have a rotor turret and like the azimuth hinge or rotor gets damaged, the whole rotor's trash, you know, and you have to rebuild it by hand and then reconfigure everything. And that sucks, right? So it's like, it's not worth it to use them in survival. And I'm like, this is one of the most powerful blocks in the game. Like this, it's stupid that survival is so punishing that you can't use some of the coolest blocks in the game. So it was around that time, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start using the multi-grid projector plugin. And what that allows you to do, obviously, is project something with subgrids on it and build it in survival. And as soon as I made that decision, the game just opened up for me. Suddenly I was just like, oh, vector thrust vehicles? Hell yeah. Custom suspension vehicles? Hell yeah. You know, ships with, you know, cool rotor turrets? Hell yeah. I never built those ever before. So now, like, the game's kind of opened up to me, and I'm like, just reveling in it. Oops. Yeah, it doesn't help to try and read on one screen while you're flying. That is too fast to use planet side very well. From my knowledge, the character can go faster than most enemies. That can go faster than the player. Yeah, but that is true of everything. The character... Yes, I have played with build and repair. Actually, most servers that I've played on have build and repair. So I'm quite familiar with it, and I don't normally use it in my own like single player games. I did use it in the last series that I did. It'd been years since I had used it, and I had just started the series, And someone suggested it, and the whole point of the series was basically rebuilding a very old space station that Keen, like, there's a map with a very old space station on there. And I was just gonna like literally tear down and rebuild the entire thing. And one of my viewers was like, you should use build and repair. And I was like, oh, you know, I haven't used that in forever. Sure, why not? So so I got into using it again there briefly. And then the server that I'm currently playing on has build and repair system. So yeah, I'm quite familiar with it. It's not something I normally use in all my, like I said, in all my single player games. And it doesn't actually solve the problem I was just talking about with the projectors or with subgrids, because you still need to, like, the problem is with the projector, right? The fact that projectors won't project subgrids. I mean, you can't even build a rover, a damn rover, because, oh, wheels are subgrids, you know? So you have to build the thing with your projector and, you know, welder wall or whatever, and then manually add the tires. I mean, that's stupid. So anyway, that's the sort of thinking that I was just like, you know what, I'm going all in. I'm gonna use the plugin for multi-grid projector. I don't really use anything else. Nothing that's like major game changing anyways. Most of the mods I use are like aesthetic or like quality of life, like build vision or something like that. Let's see what you got. Yeah, but the character can always go faster than any vehicle. It's part of the frustrating thing about the game. I've seen a lot of people complain about it. For example, it doesn't matter the size of the ship, big or small, you know, large grid, small grid, or how big it is or how small it is, what it's got. The player can always out accelerate a grid, and the player has a higher top speed than a grid, unless of course you use a mod like relative top speed, which I am using. I have a very small number of mods that I do like to use that change how the game plays. But I think they keep the spirit. They keep with the spirit of the game, and basically are making, I think they make the game closer to my understanding of what the vision of the game is. Although I suppose maybe that's not technically true, since Keen hasn't made it like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I have a small number of mods that I use. I use a lot of mods. Most are aesthetic, a few are quality of life, and then a small number that actually do change the rules, like relative top speed. And I think that they add to the game and give you player choices and decisions to make things more interesting. So, but like take like a normal survival game. You start on a planet. There's no reason to build rovers, you know. Like initially, like the only reason to build a rover when you start out is because you don't have cobalt, so you can't make metal grids, right? So you can build 4 wheels in a rover, put a drill on it, cargo, small cargo or medium cargo, whatever on it, do some mining, processing, build up a basic assembler, and then build full-on assembler. Once you find cobalt, there's technically no reason to ever use a rover again, because aircraft are better than rovers, right? So it's sort of the same reasoning that you mentioned of like, well, the character can outperform grids. Oh, it must be out of power. And it's true, right? The character can outperform grids, and rovers, there's never any point to use them, because aircraft are so much better. But still fun. So, and a lot of people will use them for just that reason, right? We still build grids even though the character is better by all measures, and we still build rovers even though aircraft are better by all measures, you know. Have I used the crew mod? Because you've only seen one YouTuber use it, and two YouTubers that use the robot enemies one, and I don't know why others don't use them more. Yeah, actually, uh, I wrote that mod. And I use that in every game. It's just that you don't usually see it in every game. If you know, you only see it if you board an enemy craft or visit an economy station. So the only time I don't use it is actually like a game like this, where this isn't a serious game. This is a survival world with creative tools on, because I'm here, like I'm building stuff or I'm testing designs. I'm not actually like playing to make, you know, a story or progress. But all my normal games, yeah, I've always had it. And I always use it. I really like it. I'm like, granted, I'm biased, but I'm with you. I am surprised more people don't use it. Because how cool is it to board an enemy ship or even just visit an economy station and there's people there, you know? I think that's awesome. So, yeah. I have seen it used by more, like you say, you don't see many people use it. I have seen more than a few people use it, though. I guess, to be fair, so it's not quite as barren as maybe what your experience has been, but yeah, it's a non-trivial number of people that don't use it at all, and that just may be because they don't know. A lot of people, even like a lot of streamers that I've seen, only have, you know, they might only have a couple hundred hours in the game, you know. So granted, that's a lot of time in a game, but for a game like this, it's not really very much. Yeah. Oh, there we go. All right, this has been running really, really well. I've probably been flying around for about 20 minutes. Not a single hitch. I'm glad to see that.
Fuel critical.
Cool. So while we're here, let's pop in. I'm curious. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not going to work. I don't even know why that was in my head. What are my thoughts on internal thrusters? Of all the cheesy things that people do, internal thrusters bother me the least. Because there's that damage area. I guess it depends. Like, every game I've ever played in, and every game I've ever seen a streamer or someone play in, or every server I've ever been on, they leave thruster damage on. So if you have internal thrusters, you've got to leave some space so that the ship doesn't damage itself. And as long as that's the case, it's fine. I don't care. I think it looks dumb, but that, let me back up. I think usually it looks dumb, but that comes down to the artistic ability of the builder and not anything to do inherently with internal thrusters, you know? I don't care. It's a game. There are a lot of weird things in it because it's a game that don't make sense, you know? So you want to put thrusters inside, I don't really care. I don't do it a whole lot myself. Like, I've tinkered, I've experimented with it, but for the most part, I don't. And the reason that I don't is because part of it comes down to armor shaping. If you put thrusters internally, then you've got to like put armor around like the thruster in the area, right? Because otherwise they're not internal thrusters, right? So because a lot of people like will put like thrusters facing each other, right? So their damage areas overlap. So that all becomes inside, which means the external, the aesthetics of the ship really come down to how well you can shape armor. And I think that, ironically, especially with the advent of more types of armor slopes, that it just doesn't like aren't the armor designs just don't look good when you just completely smooth out everything as much as possible. It just doesn't look good. I don't like it. So, but that's just an aesthetic choice, right? But as far as like the cheese goes, I don't care, man. Do it. If you're happy with it, you go for it. Um, yeah. The way I build, I like to leave functional components exposed because I think they look good and they add variety to the thing, or they add greebling and detail, aesthetic detail to whatever you're working on. What's this? Oh, sweet. So, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So, for example, I leave things exposed because I think they look good, right? These engines, they look great, you know. Oh, this is the front. They look great, and I like that. I like that detail. If this was all like thrusters were internal, or even if it was just all wrapped in armor, it I think generally it doesn't look good. It can, but you've got to be really good basically at sculpting, and I'm not. That's a weakness of mine. I rather lean into the aesthetics that the keen artists have created with the blocks, because they're good looking blocks. So, let them leverage that to make your ships look good. That's just where I come from. I know on like a PvP server or something, basically a flying brick is your ideal design. So internal thrusters and, packed with reactors and a wall of guns on one side, it just comes down to what your design requirements are, Yeah. Yeah, it does look kind of like a little weird spider or scorpion or something. I think I was thinking that when I put that gun on the back. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a scorpion. Oh, oh, that's interesting. Interesting. All right. Do a little troubleshooting here. This PC. All right. Well, plenty of room on the hard drive. Whoops. I know that the design approach that I use for everything with leaving stuff exposed is not the best idea for, combat. Obviously, you want things protected by armor. Um, but I don't really care. There are trade-offs, and for me, granted, an aesthetic trade-off is not terribly practical, but it's a game. I'm having fun. I want it to look nice, so it's fine. Um, unless I'm playing against people, you're pretty much mostly gonna win anyway. So. 53. I saw a 53 sub YouTuber build ship, but hates using armor, so all the ships are nothing but the internals. And all I could think was, at least it is resources efficient. Yep, that's very true. Yeah. And you know what? Ironically, that is sort of like where I started. It wasn't that I didn't like using armor. It was just that like I just didn't use armor. Like because to me, like let me load up. I think it's obvious in some of my mining ships. Let's do B2S. Let me find a really old one if I can. Of course, it's all the new ones. Oh, well, let's do dash D. This might. or here, I don't know, MA and -D. Coal miner, no. Oh my goodness, do I not have any of my old? I know I have my old stuff somewhere. Here's some of the older ones. Trying to think. I think this is. There's one in particular I'm looking for, and I don't see it. I'm guessing maybe I rebuilt it at one point. Or maybe this is it. Let's see. Let's load it up. So yeah, I get where the person would be coming from. So granted, there are little bits of armor all over the outside. They basically serve as bumpers, right? To keep me as I'm mining. You bump into the wall. If you have a little bit of armor here, it's going to keep your engine from getting damaged. And it actually works really well to do that. But if you ignore all the yellow, this is just a bunch of functional blocks slapped together, right? There's very little armor that is necessary to connect things. And that's how I used to build a lot when I started out. So I get where that person's coming from that you were watching. I think, well, since I started out that way, to me, it seems very natural, like, to be like, well, that's, you know, when you start playing the game, that's probably where you're going to start out, especially if you're not good at, I won't say not good, but like when you start out, you're like, you're still learning how the game works, and you're like, oh, you know, resources are precious and all that, and why would I waste, you know, an armor block, say, like here, like, why would I waste this space and put these blocks here when I could just scoot the engines in one block? I could save myself having to build these 3 blocks, and it's a little bit smaller, which is better for a miner, you know? So it does make a lot of sense. And that's definitely where I started from when I started building. And then eventually I just kind of grew out of it, and I started doing things like I would say, like, okay, I want, everything has to have 1 block of armor between it, you know, or something like that, you know, and just to make things space out a little bit. And then I also discovered, just kind of organically as I played, that leaving space is really beneficial, because a lot of times I'll get to a point in a build where I'll realize, shit, I forgot to include whatever, you know, O2H2 generators or programmable blocks or gyros or whatever. And having armor between functional blocks gives you a place to put those things, or it gives you blocks to remove to put those things. So I used, you know, I use armor now between functional blocks a lot more often than I did when I started out. But I 100% get where that person is coming from, like where, like, I get where their mind is at for doing that, because I was definitely there myself when I started. Let's see. Trying to find a good example. I guess this will work. Like, granted, it's vector thrust vehicle, but no, this is not a good example. This is pretty much everything slapped together. Yeah. Oh, I know it's a good example. AV. Here we go. Let's see where. Shit, what color was it? I've got a build video of it, but I don't remember what the final product looks like. Oh, it's this one. So there we go. Boop. Right. So yeah, so like here, I got to the point where Like, none of this armor is necessary, right? Boop. I literally, you know, you've got, you know, a row of armor down the center, then your, you know, thrusters, and then just 2 more layers of armor, right? And then the rotor for the nacelles. And part of the reason I do that is, like I said before, you discover, you know, like you get towards the end, you're like, oh shit, I didn't put any gyros on it. I guess I'll put a row here, you know? So there's that. And then I also discovered kind of, I don't know if it was conscious or not, but I just sort of eventually figured out that when you space things out, you sort of see like new shapes and new designs, you know? And if you don't, like, things sort of look a lot alike, you know? You know, I wanted variety, so let's see. Let's try. So I get where that person's coming from, you know. I think it's just a different way to build. I believe. So earlier I was talking about how my by far, by a massive margin, one of my most popular videos is a vector thrust vehicle cruising at a very comfortable pace through the canyon, through the deepest canyon of Pertam, and it's not. The craft isn't. I wasn't actually flying very deep. It just happens to be the deepest canyon, and this is the craft I was using, so it's not even really that special. And it's like, it's got like 100x the views that my other stuff. It still gets on a weekly basis. You know, it gets massively more views than any of my other stuff. And I swear, if I knew where it was getting all those views from, I would post my other content there, but I have no idea. Pancake. Oh, that was cool. Oh, wow. I've literally never, ever done that. Oh, that's funny. I have never popped a rotor head off. Oh, that's funny.
Fuel critical.
The first mobile base you saw was a guy who spent weeks building a base and not wanting to build a new one. Just put thrusters on it to fly. Can only lift 2 blocks up. Yeah. Survival building is different like that. I've seen that too. I've probably done that, especially in the early game. Or not the early game, but when I was new to the game. You know, and it's like you feel like even now when I start a survival game, there's a long time where I just feel like I'm scrounging, you know, for everything. And then you get over that hump and you're like, I have an abundant amount of everything that I have, you know, or everything that I could need or want. But I've seen that. I've seen so many streamers. They'll build a big base, or they'll build a big rover. Like they'll build a big base, and then if they want to move, they'll just put wheels on it and convert it to a vehicle and drive away. Or they'll build a big rover, and when they're ready to go to space or to leave or whatever, they put thrusters on it and fly away. So yeah, I've seen that. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think it's terribly interesting. I don't like the idea of a flying car, for example. I think it's dumb. But that is just like my personal opinion, and I realize that there's nothing wrong with it. Like when I say I think it's dumb, it's like I don't like it, right? It's just like like it's boring, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, if people are having fun, you know, rock on. You know what I mean? I don't begrudge them that. Let's see how this guy flies here. Okay. Be nice if he was right side up. Oop. There we go. Boop. All right. All right, not moving. That's good. Boop. Ready? That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Yeah, we'll do this one. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Let's see if dropping these bombs gives my computer any problems. So I believe that will be 2, bar 2. Oh. Oh, okay. All right, well. Connector. Here we go. Boop. Oh. Connector on. Boop. Oh, this is the, oh.
Fuel critical.
It still has the sprues. Okay. Boop. Boop. This is so it can be, built by a projector. Oh, fell. Oh, it went clunk. Okay. Let's see. Sensors on. There we go. Connector. Bomb 1. Oh, you're gone. Bomb 2. Unlock. How you doing? Boom. Big boom. Hey. Right on. There we go. That's going to be a big boom. Neat. Not bad. Mine's better now, too.
Fuel
All right.
critical.
I saw an economy playthrough with 4 people, and they made a single ship to only trade with players, where they could build small grid, buy ores and parts, and 10 minutes after leaving planets, get stream sniped. I don't. Oh, there's a few people here. Hello, everyone. What in this context, Bradley? What does it mean to get stream sniped? Oh, wait, that's when someone else is watching the stream on the same server, right? And then they use that as like intel on what you're doing. Yeah, okay, okay. I was thinking of something else. I forget the term. But yeah, that sucks. That sucks that happened to him. I don't know what to say about that. That definitely sucks. Let's see. I don't know if the tracked mod is on here. Let's see. Let's do 10 by 10. All right. You. Hey, it is. Oh, sweet. Let me in. So this is actually built after a thing I saw in real life, or a thing that exists in real life. I didn't see it in real life. I saw it on YouTube. It's called the Razor, I think, Razorback. But it basically looks like this. It's like a little personal tracked vehicle. Everyone who doesn't know any better calls it a tank. It's not a tank. It's a tracked vehicle, but you know, it's really fun to drive. This was the first time I ever used the 2x2 wheels. And I was surprised how well they work. The tracks that you see have zero game effect. They're just visual. Which is part of the reason why I was so surprised how well it drove, because I was like, it's on 2x2 wheels. And in my experience, like even 3x3 wheeled rovers aren't, like, they're not as good as 5x5 wheels. Or at least for small grids anyway. So I guess the difference is this has the wheels are really close together. So, and because they're smaller, the distance between contact points is also smaller, which means you can cross, you know,
Fuel critical.
ditches or ravines or whatever, you know, that are from here to there. So, and I had never thought about that before. Oh, there we go. Oh, and goodbye. Yeah, sorry people, I'm not. Today is kind of a test stream. I've done a lot of reconfiguring and changes and stuff, so I'm sort of just messing around, just trying to see how things perform, checking out my audio and all that. So for those who tuned in, I'm so sorry to disappoint. It's just me messing around right now. I do try and talk about interesting things, but oh, that was cool. But you know. Yeah, I like this. Is that a survival kit in the back? No, just a cargo. Okay. Oh shit. And we stopped. Wow, that was abrupt.
Critical.
Oh, I'm getting some lag here. Okay. And it's gone. I don't know if that was the dust. But still, I've been streaming for a while, and that was not bad. Okay, that was not bad at all. I have not played Scrapyard. I watched... Oh wait, that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about the Space Engineers Scrapyard scenario that Splitsie made, right? Yeah, I was thinking you were talking about Scrapyard Mechanic at first. I think that's what it's called, Scrap Mechanic, something like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Splitsie thing. No, I haven't. I watched Splitsie play it for a bit. I don't think I finished that series. There are a lot of things I like. Like I get what he was trying to do with the series and with the like the rule set or whatever that he created, which I like in theory, but in practice it's not really the sort of game I enjoy playing. I don't know if it's because I don't usually have a lot of time to play, and the what he's put together is definitely like, you got to be patient, right? And be like, you got to collect stuff and you got to build cranes to manipulate stuff. Oops. Oh, Jesus. And then, and then use, weld pads to assemble things and all that. So, and then if you don't have stuff, you've got to, you got to go find it. So I really appreciate what he's done. Like, I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. I don't really have the time or the patience for that sort of gameplay. So, I mean, I didn't really have the patience to watch the entire series. So, that kind of told me, I was like, I'm not sure I have the patience to play like that. But I like it. I like just like in the abstract, I've always felt that Space Engineers was a game that was like a great environment for creating games, or creating gameplay. You can, with the right mods, you can create a game system, that's different from other like game, like two people could have the same Space Engineers game, and with the right set of mods, each could actually have a completely different type of game, and that's what he's done. And I think that's awesome. Yeah, it just ultimately just comes down to like I don't generally have a lot of patience for that style of play these days, or a lot of time. And I'm not sure if it's one or the other or both of those reasons, but when you don't have a lot of time, it's hard to be patient. So, um, and that's the sort of game where like, you sit down and you put in, a 5-hour session, and you make the amount of progress you make is probably not very much, right? Because you got to find stuff and you got to grind it down. Like it's a very slow gameplay, which is absolutely like, it's not a criticism. It's just what it is, right? And yeah, I don't really have the patience for that. I'm much more interested in like getting to the point where I can build cool things and use those cool things. So a lot of all the series that I've done so far have been basically have been end game. Like I've started at the end game, so like I had access to everything. I had as many resources as I need, and it was a purely role playing driven. Like the very first series was like, hey, here's a base. We had to abandon it because bad pirates are in the area. So go, and they blew up the base. So go and fix the things that are broken and improve or add the things that are missing. And then when it's safe, the people can come back, and then your job is done. And so like literally in that game, like my starting scenario, there were like, I don't know, 15 buildings, right, that I was working with to begin with. So, and I had rovers and all that to do what I needed. So, and then in the last playthrough that I did, I was refurbishing the green base that comes with the game, and granted, there's the green base there's not a lot to it. So it's just a hunk of steel, but my quote spawn ship was it was one of the vanilla ships, but I think it's called it's not the big red ship, but it's the one you can buy from the economy. It's a large cruiser. I think it's called Blue Cruiser, I think. And I had that, and I arrived, and then I built, granted, I didn't use it for anything other than power, but that was my starting condition. Was I had basically an end game ship and a base, and the assignment was make the base better, and so I built a miner, built my, and tore down the base and built it up and all that. So that's kind of more the game style that I prefer, because I'm already working with things that are aesthetically pleasing. I don't really, I don't know how to say it. So yeah, but I really like, and all that's to say that like I'm definitely not trying to disparage the Scrapyard snare or anything, because I think it's amazing, and I respect Splitsie a great deal. So I definitely don't want it to come across like that. It's just not really my play style. It probably would have been more when I first started playing Space Engineers. I probably would have liked that, because at the time I had more free time, and I remember my very first game, I spent probably days hollowing out a mountain with a hand drill, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know the vehicular drill or that the vehicular drills, I didn't understand how much better I didn't even know how much better the tiered tools were. So I had a vanilla tier 1 hand drill, and I carved out the inside of a mountain, you know, by hand, just trying to collect stone, not even ore, but stone, so I could build things. So when I started out, I probably would have been more drawn to that scenario, but not now. I'm too impatient now. Have I ever made a train? No, I've never made a train.
Fuel critical.
I've made articulated vehicles. Let me see if I can find any. So I've made vehicles with trailers like this, right? Come on now. There we go. So I've done that. Nope. Alright, whatever. I've never used that one in game, which means it's not ready. And I have done, where is, there's another vehicle. I may not have saved it because I remember not being terribly happy with it. No, that's not it. Salvage crew rover. Oh, interesting. I may not have saved it. Usually, even if I don't like a vehicle, I'll save it. Here it is. I did save it. Because the vehicles that I don't like
Fuel low.
are the most fun to go back like a month or 6 months or a year later
Critical.
and be like, all right, this is a piece of crap. How can I fix it? And I've actually ended up with quite a few vehicles that I liked after that I was like, this is really cool. And they started out, they were like, I don't even know why I'm saving this. Anyway, this is like, it's not a train, but it has hinged front and back wheels, so like the entire chassis bends. This is like the closest thing I've ever come to making a train, you know, the hinges and whatnot. Obviously I never finished building it. And this was actually influenced by, the design was influenced by another game. I don't remember what it was, but I saw a drawing. I think it was a drawing. I don't think it was a screenshot. But it was like a drawing. I don't know if it was advertising or concept art or what, but it was a vehicle. It kind of had like this flat, rounded glass front. And then, and like the wheels, chassis bend. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I want to make that in Space Engineers. And that's as far as I got. I was like, this sucks. So, yeah, so I've never made a train. Mostly I stick to vector thrust aircraft, and I did dabble for a while. Oh, I should say vector thrust aircraft and spacecraft, and then and like various types of custom turrets. Like if you're looking for like things that are articulated or whatever. What's the difference here? Mark II, Mark 1. All right, let's go with Mark II. Beep boop boop. Beep. Boop. All right, whatever. That's most what I do. Is this sort of thing. What does this do? That one? What does this do? Oh, land. This is what I wanted. Here we go. This was my attempt at like, it would be called a powered lift vehicle. Like the Osprey, where the nacelles don't rotate in response to your control input while flying, but they do shift position depending on what you want to do, you know. flying versus landing or whatever. So I've done some like this. But yeah, mostly it's vector thrust, aircraft, spacecraft, and then custom turrets. And then I did dabble a little bit for like, I don't know, a month or so. I dabbled with building trailers, tractor trailer type configuration things. I enjoyed that. Clunk.
Fuel critical.
All right, what else? So another thing that I'm happy to see is that I'm here on the planet and I'm not getting the hiccups that I was getting before. I'll save that for another day. But yeah, so like I've messed around with, I do a lot of buildings actually. Again, because I like to play a lot of games that start at locations, you know, other than like you're in a survival pod in the middle of a solar system and there's nobody here. Good luck. Like that's the default start. I did that once or twice when I started playing the game, you know, like everyone. And now I'm like, no, there's civilization out there. I kind of want to play around that, you know, play near that. So I've built a lot of buildings. That was a fun little one, little rocket turret there. Useless, but looks cool. Even stuff like I built a cafeteria for a base. So. Whoop. Oh, I thought there was a marquee on there. Got the coat room, and then hey, the cafeteria, get your food, cooking area. These are the dishwashing area, I suppose. Storage for ingredients, loading area. Uh-oh. Oh shit. Have some technical issue here. Headphones just disconnected. All right. All right, cool. That's weird. So, all right, cool. Let's get back into space. So that went well. Let's go find the thing I've been hanging out at, that thing. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's the drone I was working on. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. Sweet. Oh, that's the bottom. Okay. Cool. That's the thing. All right, cool. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap this up here. This was a very thorough test. I just wanted to just check on how things were going. I'm really happy. I'm really satisfied. Could be better. I would like it if my computer did not get too hot to touch. But it's still not as hot as it used to get. I'm really happy with how the audio got sorted out, and also whatever hiccup was causing the actual computer itself. I don't know if it was a heat or something else, to hiccup like every second. in the stream yesterday seems to be gone. So I've also made some improvements to get the cooling to work better. So all in all, I'm really happy with the test of everything. So thanks for hanging out, Bradley, and whomever else is here. It's nice to see you guys. Oh, and someone else just jumped in. Bad timing, man. I'm about to wrap up, but I'm gonna more than likely my next stream will be on Monday. That's generally what I try and do. I don't know when. It's usually midday to early afternoon, and then I'll go for a couple hours. So yeah, so I will see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, and goodbye.